All right, we need to know the rules when we take to the court. Today we're going to look at a rules test questions. Let's get started. Greetings again, everybody. It's Greg Austin with A Better Official, abetterofficial.com. We craft video to help basketball officials get better. One of the ways we do that is by understanding the rules of National Federation of High School Basketball rules so that we can apply the rules correctly on the court. Today we're going to take a look at the IAABO test questions. I'm going to take the test. We'll see if I get them right, but we're going to talk about the fundamental rule concepts involved so that we can all have a better understanding of the rules. All right, let's get started right away with our very first question. A1 controls a rebound and falls to the floor while holding the ball. The official rules a traveling violation. Is this correct? Yes or no, right? A1 controls a rebound, meaning A1 is holding the basketball. A player who is holding the basketball and who is not on the floor may not contact the floor with any part of their body other than their hands or their feet. So if this player fell on their backside, if this player fell to one knee, if this player fell on their back, etc., all of these would be a violation, a traveling violation by rule. So in this situation where the officials ruled a traveling violation, is this correct? Yes. Yes, it is. Let's move on to question number 2. While the ball is at the disposal of a player for a throw-in, the ball is live. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? Understanding when the ball is live, when the ball is dead, critical to our ability to officiate the rules with using National Federation of High School Basketball rules. A ball becomes live during a throw-in when it is placed at the disposal or is at the disposal of the thrower. That is a fundamental concept. So in this question, while the ball is at the disposal, is the ball live? Our correct answer here is yes, absolutely, by rule. All right, I got to appreciate. We've got to appreciate that IAABO properly knows how to handle test questions. Of course, we recently did the California study guide. Many more words, right? Multiple choice, lots of words in the possible answers. Love the simplicity of this test. I'll put a link to the complete playlist, 6 hours worth up above, and we'll from the California study guide. All right, let's move on now to our next question. Question number 3. Let's go. Airborne shooter A1 charges into B1 who has legal guarding position. The try is successful. The official charges A1 with a player control foul and counts the goal. Is this correct? Well, first of all, I love how the question says the official charges A1 when the A1 was charging. Yes, airborne shooter A1 charges into B1 who has legal guarding position. This is a player control foul by rule. Understanding, like in the previous question, when is the ball live and when does the ball become dead? A foul by an airborne player causes the ball to become dead. When the ball is dead, no goal can be scored. So in this instance, charging A1 with a player control foul is correct, but scoring the goal would be incorrect. So our answer to the question, is this correct? Yes or no? No. No, this is not. Sort of, almost, mostly, but not. No. All right. Question 4. A1 starts to drive to the basket along the end line. B1 places 2 hands on A1 momentarily. The official rules a handshaking foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes, it is a foul to put two hands on a ball handler dribbler. Simple freedom of movement, the fundamental concept that we like to go into a game and how we're going to officiate the game. Freedom of movement is paramount. Placing two hands, placing an arm bar, multiple hands, affecting the rhythm, speed, balance, or quickness of the ball handler is a foul by rule. So in this question, the official rule is a hand-checking foul. Is this correct? Yes. Yes, it is. Question number 5. After A1 jumps to attempt to try, B1 moves into A1's landing area. A1 collides with B1. The official rules a player control foul. So A1 becomes airborne on a try. B1, while they are airborne, moves into the path. There is contact, there is a collision, and the official rules a player control foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? A defender is not allowed to move into the path of an airborne player. They must be in that path and established prior to the player going airborne. So in this instance, is this correct? The correct answer is no. Hey, allow me a quick moment to thank our tremendous channel supporters. Gene Boglin, Michael Baker, Willie Godfrey, Lauren Messerly, and Jim Best. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? I'll put a link down in the show notes, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to put one up above. Awesome. All right, let's move on to question number 6. A1, closely guarded in the front court, dribbles the ball for 4 seconds and then catches the ball. The official starts a new count. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, this is correct. Closely guarded while dribbling has its own count. The player stops the dribble and picks up the ball. Now they are holding the ball on the court. That has its own count as well. So in this instance, we're not going to overthink it. The official starts a new count. Is this correct? Yes. Yes, it is. Number 7, the act of shooting starts with the habitual motion that precedes the release of the try. That sounds like pretty good rules book language. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes, yes it does. The continuous motion rule, Rule 4-11, part of Rule 4, some would say the most important rule in the rules book for basketball officials, especially for new basketball officials, lays the foundation for what for other rules to be built upon. Rule 4-11, continuous motion, the habitual motion that precedes the release of the try. This is going to be a judgment by the official, but the essential component of this question is absolutely correct. And we're moving on to question number 8. During a jump ball, jumper A1 catches the ball prior to the jump ball ending. The official rules a violation. Is this correct? Yes or no? Of course, during a jump ball, during any of the 3 restarts in the game of basketball, there's a special set of rules and restrictions. During a jump ball, during a throw-in, during a free throw, during, right? Understanding when these events start, when these events end is critical so that we can apply that special set of rules and restrictions during that time so that we can get plays right. In this instance, we have a jumper who, during the jump ball, means the jump ball has not ended, catches the ball. Jumpers cannot catch the ball during a jump ball. Oftentimes, you'll see plays where jumpers, tap the ball, it hits the floor, they pick it up. The official rules a violation, right? But we are no longer during. Once it hits the floor, knowing when these events end is critical. Then the jumper can pick up or hold the ball. But in this instance, during a jump ball, they catch the ball prior to the jump ball ending. That's kind of like reinforcing that fact. And the official rules a violation. This is a rules violation. And the answer here is yes. Question number 9. On a missed free throw, the clock starts when it is legally touched by a player. Again, really good rules book language. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes, it is. The clock should start on a missed free throw when it is legally touched by a player. Almost all touching in a missed free throw scenario will be legal. How could it not be legal? A fist of the ball or a kick of the ball? But our correct answer here is yes. Moving on. Question number 10. A1 and B1 push each other at approximately the same time during a dead ball. The official rules a double technical foul, awards no free throws, and resumes play at the point of interruption. Is this correct? Yes or no? I love the rules. The language is baked into the question, right? At approximately the same time, these two players have this illegal action, right? The official rules a double technical foul, awards no free throws, and resumes at the point of interruption. Of course, this brings to bear the fact that during a double, right, double technicals, double foul, etc., there are never free throws awarded, and we will resume play at the point of interruption. That's exactly what we have on this play. So double technical fouls are assessed, and we resume play at the point of interruption. The point of interruption here is not defined, but that's how we would do it. So this is a correct answer, and we're moving forward. Question 11. A1 dives for a loose ball. After securing the control of the ball on the floor, momentum causes A1 to slide several feet. The official rules this a legal play. Well, that's got to be something, ref. Come on! Of course, players whose momentum after they are on the floor and their momentum causes them to slide, that is not a traveling violation. That is a legal play by rule, one that everybody knows officials sometimes become confused by. Note there's a key component here is after securing control of the ball on the floor. This same player would not be allowed to catch the ball in the air, hit the floor, and slide, because a player holding the ball cannot touch the floor with something other than hands or feet, right? But in this instance, it's very specific that the player secured control of the loose ball while they were on the floor, right? So the player dives and starts to slide, grabs the ball, continues to slide. That's a legal play by rule. And I love the language. I love the fact that the rules book language is built into the questions. Appreciate that. Solid questions. Number 12, while the ball is in flight on a pass between A1 and A2, the Team A head coach requests a timeout. The official grants the request. Is this correct? Yes or no? Okay, we're not going to overthink it. Let's think of the scenario. While the ball is in flight on a pass between A1 and A2, right? A1 has the ball. We have player control on the court. We have team control on the court. The ball is passed between A1 and A2. During a pass between two players, team control still exists, right? We understand that. And the coach requests a timeout. But in order to grant the timeout properly, we must have player control on the court. While the ball is being passed between teammates, there is no player control by rule. So, in this instance, the official grants the request. Is this correct? Yes or no? No, it is not correct procedure. We should not grant in this situation because there's no player control on the court, right? So that's the simple answer. But if we have this situation in our game, what are we going to do? We've inadvertently granted a timeout that we should not. What happens next? What happens next is we have granted the timeout. There's no take back in this situation. We have erroneously done so, but we have granted the timeout. They will be allowed to take their timeout, and we will resume at the point of interruption. In this instance, we've essentially had an inadvertent whistle. What was our point of interruption? That we had team control by Team A, right? That has not changed. It would be the location of the ball when the inadvertent whistle sounded, and that's how we would resume. So to answer the question, is this correct for the official to grant in this situation? No. No, this is not. It may happen. It was a point of emphasis a couple of years ago for ensuring that we have player control before we can grant a timeout. All right, moving on. Question 13. A1 sets a screen on a stationary B2 outside B2's visual field. B2 begins to step, but prior to placing a foot on the floor, contacts A1. The official rules a legal play. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? Again, the rules book language is built into the question outside the defender's visual field. The defender attempts to take one natural step in this instance, and contact occurs. We're assuming this is illegal contact on the play. This should be a team control foul by rule. Yes. So in this situation where the official rules a legal play, is this correct? No. No, this is not. As time and distance are relevant when a screen is set outside the visual field of a defender. We need to when it's outside the visual field, we need to give the defender the opportunity to avoid. And by setting the screen so close outside the visual field, we have not given the defender opportunity to avoid the screen. Therefore, it is illegal by rule. All right, moving on to question 14. A1 has control of the ball above the semicircle when A2 and B2 commit a double personal foul in the lane. The official resumes play by awarding the ball to Team A nearest to where the double foul was committed. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? So we have the ball at one part of the court. Let's say in this instance it says above the semicircle. Let's say that it's closer to the division line, and in the lane area a double foul is ruled. What is the presumption? Again, remembering the fundamental concept: when it's double foul, double technical, we always resume at the point of interruption, right? We're instinctively, as basketball officials, we think we're, spot nearest the foul. But in a situation where we have a double foul, that is not the case. When we have a double foul, hold on one second. When we have a double foul, we resume at the point of interruption. The point of interruption here is team control by A1, right? So A1 has control, but it's the spot where the ball was when the foul was committed. So in this instance, the officials resumed with a throw-in nearest to where the double foul is committed. Is that correct? No. No, that is not. Number 15, A1's try is on its downward flight outside the imaginary cylinder above the level of the ring with a chance of entering the basket when B1 bats the ball away. The officials rule goaltending. Is this correct? Yes or no? Well, the three elements of goaltending are baked into our scenario. The ball is on its downward flight, right? Try downward flight outside the cylinder above the level of the ring with a chance to go in. These are the criteria necessary to have a goaltending call, and in this instance, goaltending was ruled. And were the officials correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. That is a correct ruling. Okay. Let's move on to question 16. Team A scores. B1's throw-in is intentionally kicked by A2 near the end line. Official awards the ball to Team B and rules B1 retains the privilege of moving along the end line. Is this correct? Yes or no? Well, I know that the penalty for a kicked ball is throw-in at the spot nearest the violation, and it's a designated spot throw-in, right? I know that. right? But in this situation, right, where it's after a scored goal and the team has the ability to run the end line, there's a bit of an exception that says, hey, the kickball and the subsequent violation, that designated spot, does not override the fact that the team had the ability to run the end line. We don't want to take away the privilege in that instance. So when the official allowed them to retain the privilege of moving along the end line, were they correct, yes or no? Yes, they were. Moving on, 17, A1 starts a drive to the basket along the end line. B1 places an extended armbar on A1. The official rules a hand-checking foul. Were the officials correct? This sounds a lot like the same situation we had previously where the player places two hands, placing an armbar, an extended armbar, right? Not an absorbing armbar, one that is extended away from the body of the defender, is a hand-checking foul by rule. And again, we want to emphasize the fact that we have freedom of movement in our game. NFHS recently, a few years ago, added the hand-checking into the rules book so that it's ensured that they will be called and allow freedom of movement in the game. Let's move on to question 18. During an interrupted dribble by A1, A1 continues the dribble without catching the ball. The official rules an illegal dribble. Is this correct? Yes or no? What is an interrupted dribble? Right? What is it? Right? When the defender knocks the ball away, and it's loose, is that an interrupted dribble? No, interrupted dribble is the momentary loss of control by a dribbler, very commonly because they dribble the ball off of their foot, off of their leg, and it gets away from them. Sometimes it's because they simply they change directions, the ball bounced a little outside, and they've lost control of it momentarily. In this instance, they then go to the ball, continue the dribble, and this is a legal action by rule. The interrupted dribble has not ended the dribble. It's a momentary loss of control. Once the player gains control, again by dribbling and continuing the dribble, if, of course, during this instance they ended their dribble by putting two hands on the ball or catching the ball, that would not be the case. But in this instance, the official rules an illegal dribble. Is this correct? Yes or no? No, this is not correct. This is a legal play by rule. And let's move on to question 19. A1 in the backcourt throws the ball toward the front court. B1 in the front court bats the ball back to A1 in the backcourt. The official starts a new 10-second count. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? The 10-second rule what does the rule say? A team in control has 10 seconds in order for what to occur? For the ball to be above the front court? For the ball to be touched by a teammate in the front court? No. It's for the ball to gain front court status. Again, one of the essential skills that we need as basketball officials is the ability to understand status. The status, is the ball live? Is the ball dead? Is there team control? No team control? Player control? No player control? Etc. And the status of the ball. Is the ball in the front court? Is the ball in the back court? Right? In this instance, the rule outlines that the ball must gain front court status. We have a defender, B1, in the front court who bats the ball either while they're in contact with the court or after they had last been in contact with the court. By rule, the ball has gained front court status. Imagine the situation where the defender's in the front court near the division line. They jump towards the ball, so they're over the back court and bat the ball, right, in an attempt to steal it, but are unsuccessful, and it goes back to A1, right? In that instance, the player is right above the back court, right? They're in the back court, right? No. Where were they last in contact with the court? Understanding that fundamental concept. So in this instance, the defender contacting the ball in this instance gave the ball front court status, that 10-second count should be ended at that point. The ball is batted into the backcourt. A1 has the ball in the backcourt. A new 10-second count should begin. So in this instance, when the official started a new 10-second count, were they correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. Whew, long-winded. Number 20. While A1's try is in flight, Team A retains team control. Is this correct? Piggybacking on our previous question, understanding status, control, team control. When does it begin? How does it end? Understanding that, super important, really important, right? So team control ends in one of three ways, right? When the other team gains control, how would the other team gain control? By a player holding or dribbling the ball. A deflection by our defender will not cause that. A player from the other team steals the ball, holds the ball. Oh, team control has ended. The other way is the ball becomes dead, right? When the ball becomes dead, there's no longer team control. And our third way, of course, is when a try is released. When a try is released, there is no longer team control by rule. So again, this is a status question, understanding when team control starts, when team control ends, right? Critical to our ability to officiate the game. So in this instance, when A1 released a try, team control has ended by rule. So the statement here that Team A retains team control, is this correct? Yes or no? No. No, it is not. Question 21. A1 is in the act of shooting when B2 fouls A2. A1 continues the motion. The ball enters the basket. The official disallows the goal. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? So A1 in the act of shooting and away from the shooter, B2 fouls A2. A1 continuously continues their throwing motion, and the ball enters the basket. Let's assume it passes through as well. But the official disallows the goal. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? Rule 4-11, the continuous motion rule. If there is a foul by any defender, right? It doesn't have to be the shooter who is fouled. Any defender fouls either the shooter or a teammate of the shooter. The player who has begun their habitual throwing motion is allowed to complete that motion, and the result of that motion will stand. So we have a situation where a player begins, there's a whistle, and they continue and release the ball. That is a legal play. We should allow the result of that continuous motion to apply. In this instance, though, the officials did not allow and disallowed the goal. Is this correct? Yes or no? No, this is not correct. All right, 21 questions in. Let's move to question number 22. B1 commits a flagrant personal foul against A1. The official awards A1 2 free throws, awards Team A a throw-in at the spot of out of bounds nearest to the foul, and disqualifies B1. Is this correct? Yes or no? B1 commits a flagrant personal foul against A1. What is the penalty for a flagrant foul? Very similar to, and actually the same penalty in terms of the result in the game. It is 2 free throws for the offended player or their eligible substitute. The ball to that team nearest the spot of the foul is the ruling. We could have a flagrant foul on an attempted 3 that is missed, and that penalty would be 3 free throws to the offended player or eligible substitute, spot nearest the foul. But of course, a flagrant foul also adds the penalty of disqualifying the player who committed the foul. Right? So in this instance, where the officials did all three things, is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it is. A1 is fouled and awarded 2 free throws. After the foul is reported, the timer sounds the horn for A6 to substitute. The official beckons A6 into the game. Is this correct? Yes or no? Using National Federation High School basketball rules, this is not the correct time for a substitute to be beckoned into the game prior to 2 free throws. That time is before the last free throw or after the last free throw is successful. Those are the 2 intervals for substitutions. National Federation of High School Basketball rules. Of course, there's some exceptions, right? If we had a player who was bleeding at this moment and had to be replaced by rule, and we had A6 at the table, they would be in the game. But this is not the correct ruling in common circumstance, right? Of course, if we do beckon that player into the game, when does that player become a legal player? We've inadvertently beckoned them in, so they have to stay in, right? No. When do they become a legal player? Right? When the ball becomes live. That substitute would be legal. So if we beckoned that player in, the ball became live for the first of 2 free throws, and then the officials recognize, oh, wait a minute, we made a mistake, etc. At that point, they are legal. The substitution is legal. That's a bit of a minutia and not really part of this question. This question is this correct, yes or no? No, this is not the correct time to beckon that substitute into the game. Moving on, 24. Prior to any warning for delay, during a throw-in by A1, B1 breaks the plane of the boundary line. The official issues a warning to Team B. Is this correct? Yes or no, right? Prior to any warning for delay, there has not been one in this game. During a throw-in by Team A, B1 breaks the plane of the boundary line, and a team warning for delay is issued. That is the correct procedure here. Team warning for delay. What does that mean? That means informing the book that a team warning for delay has been issued, alerting the coach of the team that committed this that a team warning for delay has been issued. This is a moment to take that's theatrical. We want to make sure that everybody knows, including our partner, right, that we have issued a team warning for delay. But that is the correct situation, the correct adjudication here. We issue a team warning for delay. Is this correct, yes or no? Yes, it is. 25, A1 is driving to the basket for a layup. B2 obtains a legal guarding position and jumps vertically with his or her hands extended within the vertical plane. A1's momentum causes contact with B2. The official rules B2 position is legal. There's a lot of contact there, ref. Is this correct? Yes or no? We have basically defined the concept of verticality in this play. We have a defender who has established a legal guarding position, jumps vertically, keeps their arms and hands extended within the vertical plane. This player is legal by rule, and the officials ruling their position to be legal is correct. Yes. Yes, it is. 26. A1's throw-in is touched by A2 in the front court and goes directly into the back court. A1 retrieves the ball in the back court. The official rules a backcourt violation. Is this correct? Yes or no? In order to have a backcourt violation, we must first have team control on the court. Of course, we know and understand that team control is given to the throwing team during a throw-in, but that team control is only for the administration of fouls. For us to have a backcourt violation, we must first have team control established on the court. In order to establish team control on the court, we must have player control on the court, right? So our scenario here is the throw-in is touched by A2 in the front court and goes directly into the back court. Is the touching by A2, does that establish team control on the court? No. No, it does not. A1's retrieval of the ball is legal in this instance. So when our officials ruled a backcourt violation, is this correct? Yes or no? No. No, it is not. I was doing some youth games over the weekend, and we had this exact scenario. Our player, A1, who the ball deflected off of in the front court, sort of has that body language like, oh, I know this is a violation, and sort of half-heartedly pursued the ball. The opponent ran down the court, grabbed the ball, shot a layup, and A1 was like, ref, that's bad court. He wanted the violation to be called. I told him I would allow him to explain to me the backcourt rule in National Federation of High School Rules during the next timeout. So that was a funny story for me over the weekend. But let's move on to question 27. The official's jurisdiction ends and the final score is approved when all officials leave the visual confines of the court. Is this correct? Yes or no? Again, excellently worded question with the fundamental concepts of the rule involved. When the entire crew has left the visual confines of the court, they have gone through that door, right, that says exit on it on their way. When they have left the visual confines, the official's jurisdiction has ended by rule. Question 28. B1 obtains a legal guarding position on dribbler A1 when B1 gets in A1's path with both feet touching the playing court and facing A1. Is this correct? Yes or no? It sounds like we have made the exact, our defender has achieved the exact definition of legal guarding position. Of course, understanding the rules of guarding, one of the absolutely essential understandings we have to have as a basketball official. If we understand what is guarding, what is legal, we are way ahead of the game in terms of doing a great job officiating the game of basketball. A player who has established a legal guarding position, which is defined by both feet on the floor facing the opponent, torso facing the opponent, to establish legal guarding position. And we have achieved that. Our correct answer here is yes. Moving on, 29. After 10 minutes before the scheduled starting time, the coach of Team A adds 2 names to the team member list in the scorebook. The official assesses Team A 1 technical foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? We've added 2 team members to the list. Shouldn't that be 2, right? And what kind of technical foul is it, right? There are 5 types of technical fouls in National Federation of High School Basketball rules. When we assess a technical foul, first of all, it's critical to understand which of those 5, because different types of technical fouls can have different types of penalties and impacts on the game. In this situation, the act of forcing this change in the book, adding 2 team members to the book, is 1 administrative technical foul. It is not on the head coach directly. It is an administrative technical foul. It covers the addition of multiple players and it covers all such instances. So if there was another addition of team members later, it would all be covered by that initial administrative technical foul. So in this instance, the officials assessed Team A with 1 technical foul, an administrative technical foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it is. Number 30. An interrupted dribble occurs when the ball momentarily gets away from the dribbler. Is this correct? Yes or no? Momentarily gets away, a momentary loss of control by the dribbler, implied by the question. We're not going to overthink it, right? with less rules book language with this question. But an interrupted dribble is the momentary loss of control by a dribbler. So in this question, is this question correct? Yes. Yes, it is. 31. The official charges B2 with a technical foul for excessively swinging arms and elbows without contacting an opponent. Is this correct? Yes or no? I mean, that was dangerous, right? The action, right, of excessively swinging that elbow, well, it's got to be something, right? No. This is a violation by rule. It can be any of the 10 players on the court. Excessively swinging arms and elbows without contacting an opponent is a violation by rule. The offended team should be penalized, but that penalty is not a technical foul. It's simply a violation. So in this situation where we did assess a technical foul, is this correct? Yes or no? No. No, it is not. A3 catches a pass while in the air, lands on one foot, jumps off that foot, and lands on both feet simultaneously. A3 then starts a dribble. The official rules a legal play. Is this correct? Yes or no? Wow, there's a lot going on, right? A3 is in the air, catches a ball, right? Let's say it's a pass from a teammate. Jumps, lands on one foot, jumps off that foot, lands on 2 feet. What can they and can't they do? That's sort of the question here. Can they begin a dribble in this instance? Can they lift one of their feet in this instance? As I famously made mistakes a couple of episodes ago on Basketball Rules Expert with my understanding of the pivot, right? But we're not reading too much into this question, right? No reason to do that. There is no restriction in this instance on the player beginning a dribble. So, the official rules this a legal play. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it is. During Team A's throw-in, A2, airborne from the front court, catches the ball. A2 lands with one foot in the front court and the other foot that comes down in the backcourt. The official rules a backcourt violation. Is this correct? Yes or no? In National Federation of High School Basketball rules, the backcourt rule has an exception for 3 possible instances. During a jump ball, while on defense, or during a throw-in, a player is legally allowed to jump from their front court and catch the ball in the air and land in their backcourt. And it matters not whether the landing in the backcourt is 1 foot front court, 1 foot backcourt. It matters not which foot lands first, right? Well, the foot in the front court landed, and then they put a foot down in the backcourt. A player who jumps and catches the ball in the air, then makes a landing, a normal landing. It matters not which foot. It matters not that 1 foot is in the backcourt, 1 foot is not. So in this instance where the officials ruled this a backcourt violation, is this correct? No. No, it is not. That player is allowed that exception to the backcourt rule during a throw-in, jumping from the front court, catching the ball in the air, and making a normal landing that gives them backcourt status. And it matters not the timing of the landing. Question 34, A1 attempts a try. While the ball is in the imaginary cylinder above the ring, A5 jumps and touches the ring. The officials rule basket interference. Is this correct? Yes or no? Basket interference. Touch the ring. The ball is above the ring in the imaginary cylinder with the ring as its base. You can't touch the ring in that instance, can you? Basket interference is relatively simple in concept. When the ball is in that imaginary cylinder with the ring as its base, the ball is above the ring, you cannot contact the ball. Simple. The ball is in the cylinder, you cannot contact the ball. When the ball is on the ring or in the basket, you cannot contact the basket or the ball. That is basket interference in its essence. So in this situation where the player contacted the ring while the ball was above the ring in the cylinder, is this correct? Yes or no? No, this is not correct. One way to think about it is a player, somebody playing the bongos, right? They can da 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 da, right? They could do that on the ring while the ball is in the cylinder. There can be multiple touches, etc. That is not illegal by rule. So in this instance, is this correct? Yes or no? No, this is not a correct ruling on this play. A1 establishes the right foot as the pivot foot. B1 steps with the left foot and picks up the pivot foot before releasing the ball on a pass. The official rules a traveling violation on A1. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? Well, so the player has established a pivot foot, steps with their other foot, lifts the pivot foot, and releases a pass. The official rules a traveling violation on A1. Sounds right. You can't lift the pivot foot, right? Right. In this instance, when a player may not lift the pivot foot and begin a dribble, that is a traveling violation by rule. A player may lift, in this instance, the pivot foot and do several things. They can legally request a timeout. They can make a pass. They can release a try for goal, right? Like a step-through play. Player has established their pivot foot, pivot, steps on their non-pivot foot, lifts their pivot foot, and lays the ball in. Legal play, right? The only thing you're restricted from doing in this instance where the lifting of the pivot foot occurs is you cannot begin a dribble. So when the official rules the traveling violation on A1 in this instance, were they correct? Yes or no? No, they were not. Let's move on. 36, post player A5 has only 1 foot in the free throw lane while A1 is dribbling the ball in the front court. After 3 seconds, the official rules a violation. Is this correct? Yes or no? Only 1 foot in the lane area while A1 is dribbling the ball in the front court after 3 seconds, right? So the 3-second rule, of course, does not allow a player whose team is in control and the ball is in the front court to be in the lane for 3 seconds. A player having just a 1 foot in the lane establishes that they are in the lane. So in this instance, where the officials ruled a violation, this would be a 3-second violation by rule. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it is. After obtaining an initial legal guarding position, B1 may move laterally or obliquely to maintain that position on a dribbler. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. The legal guarding and understanding guarding, of course, is understanding what is a player who is in the act of guarding allowed to do. They are allowed to make essentially movement in 3 directions after establishing that legal guarding position. They may move laterally, they may move obliquely, or they may move backwards legally. So in this instance, where they may move laterally or obliquely, is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it is. Dribbler A1 is contacted by B1 after time expires. The official ignores the contact because the contact was neither intentional nor flagrant. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? We have contact that rises to the level of illegal contact, but the contact occurs after time expires, after the horn. when the horn and time expiring caused the ball to become dead. Remember, understanding status, live ball, dead ball, critical to our understanding of how to officiate basketball rules, and understanding that the ball is dead in this instance. When the ball is dead, contact that it does not rise to the level of intentional or flagrant is to be ignored. What would normally be a foul when the ball is dead is not a foul. And understanding that is critical. So in this instance, the official ignored the contact because the contact was neither intentional or flagrant. Is this correct? Yes. Yes, it is. During an alternating possession throw-in, B2 fouls A2. The official rules that the arrow should not be reversed. Is this correct? Yes or no? A good question, right? Again, understanding the alternating possession arrow. When is the arrow switched? Understanding that gives us a big heads up about how to handle plays like this. So in this situation, we are during an alternating possession throw-in. Background change. During the throw-in, a foul occurs. Do we switch the arrow in this instance? When do we switch the arrow for an alternating possession throw-in? We do so when the throw-in ends. Has the throw-in ended when a foul occurs during the throw-in? No, it has not. So in this instance, the official rules that the arrow should not be reversed. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes, it is. We would not reverse the arrow. The throw-in had not ended. And we're moving on to question 40. A ball is at the disposal of a free thrower when the ball is released by an official. Is this correct? Yes or no? As we discussed way back at the start of this test, understanding when the ball becomes live is critical. In this instance, during a free throw, the ball is live when it is at the disposal of the thrower. When is the ball, when bounced by an official, at the disposal of the thrower? When they catch the basketball. If my bounce to the thrower bounced off their knee and they never caught it, is the ball at their disposal? No, it is not. While the ball is in flight from that pass from the official to the thrower, it is not yet at their disposal. That would apply to throw-ins as well. So the statement that the ball is at the disposal in this instance is not correct. All right. On to 41. A1 is injured and the official beckons the coach onto the floor to attend to A1. After 15 seconds, A1 is okay and the coach decides to leave A1 in the game. The official rules that Team A must use a timeout in order to keep A1 in the game. Is this correct? Yes or no? In the end, yes, it is. Yes, it is, right? So unlike some previous questions where we've the question has had great language, this one's a little bit obscure. Not obscure, but just maybe room for improvement, right? A player in this instance, when they are injured and the coach is beckoned onto the court to attend, or personnel, the trainer is beckoned onto the court to attend to that player must be substituted for by rule. With the exception that a team may request and be granted a timeout, and if that player is able to play in that instance, at the expiration of that timeout, they are allowed to stay in the game. So our question, though, says the official rules that Team A must use a timeout in order to keep them in the game. We get there eventually, but the player needs to be directed to leave and a substitute be made for them. And the coach may request a timeout. We can offer that information to the coach. Coach, You can buy the player in with a timeout. Do you want a timeout? Right? To do so, yeah. A1 catches the ball while airborne and lands on both feet simultaneously. A1 pivots. The official rules a traveling violation on A1. Is this correct? Player caught the ball in the air, landed on both feet simultaneously. What are they allowed to do? Either foot may be the pivot. Either foot may be the pivot, and that would be established by lifting one foot, establishing the pivot foot, and they are allowed to have a pivoting action at that point. The official ruling a traveling violation here would not be correct. A1, during a throw-in, places the ball through the plane of the boundary line. B1 slaps the ball out of A1's hands. The official charges B1 with a technical foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? Well, I know that during a throw-in, you cannot reach through the boundary plane and contact the ball. If you do, that's a player technical. If you contact the thrower, that's an intentional foul. I know those things, right? But this is a situation where our thrower has extended the ball through. So our defender has not reached through the boundary plane to contact the ball, which is a player technical. It's a unique situation where our offensive player, our thrower rather, has extended the ball through and the ball is over the playing court. And then the defender contacts the basketball. This is legal by rule. It's an unusual situation. Throw-ins often offer unusual situations. Contacting the ball is not illegal by rule. So in this situation, our officials ruled this a technical foul on B1. Is this correct? Yes or no? No, it is not. The key component here is that our thrower extended the ball through the boundary plane and the ball was over the court. Fair game for a defender. And we're moving on to 44. The head coach of Team A is charged with an indirect technical foul. The official informs the scorer that foul counts towards as a team foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? The head coach is charged with an indirect technical foul. When is a head coach assessed an indirect technical foul? Right? Head coach is responsible for the behavior of bench personnel. If bench personnel are assessed, if that individual or collective action by the team, and a technical foul is assessed to a member of bench personnel, an indirect technical foul is also assessed to the head coach. But indirect technical fouls are not technical fouls. All technical fouls in National Federation of High School Basketball rules count as a team foul towards bonus. But indirect technical fouls are not technical fouls. They have the language technical foul, but they are not technical fouls. They are simply an assessment that recognizes the head coach is assigned something that's related to their responsibility over bench personnel. Bench personnel get a technical foul, and indirect is applied to the head coach. So in this instance, our officials inform the scorer that the foul counts as a team foul? No, it would not. The technical foul that led to the indirect technical foul would be, right? So let's say there are no technical fouls, no team fouls to start the second half. The assistant coach says, "Ref, you suck." We assess a bench technical foul on the assistant coach. The head coach is assessed an indirect technical foul. This would mean a loss of their privilege to stand and coach their team. But how many team fouls would there be after we assess the technical foul on the assistant coach? Just one. That technical foul counts towards bonus, but the indirect technical foul designation applied to the head coach would not. And we're moving on to 45. After A5 and B5 tap the ball during a jump ball, A1 and B1 simultaneously deflect the ball out of bounds. The official instructs A1 and B1 to re-jump. Is this correct? Yes or no? Jacob Krause, where are you at? Right? In this instance, the correct ruling on the play was that the two players involved with the subsequent action, right? The two players who caused the ball to go out of bounds, or two players who have a held ball situation after the ball is tapped during a jump ball, would be the subsequent jumpers in National Federation of High School Basketball rules. So in this instance where the officials instructed that the jump ball should occur between our original jumpers, is this correct, yes or no? No, it is not. While A1's pass is in flight, A2 commits a common foul against B1. Team B is in the bonus. The official rules a team control foul. Is this correct? Yes or no? So while A1's pass is in flight, if we have a pass, we must have had player control. We must have team control. So Team A is in control. While the pass is in flight, A2 commits a common foul against B1. Team B is in the bonus. The official rules a team control foul, right? Team A was in control. A Team A player committed a foul. If we boil it down to that scenario, then obviously we have a team control foul by rule. Remembering that, of course, team control does not end while a pass between teammates is in flight. So in this instance where the officials ruled a team control foul, were they correct, yes or no? Yes. Yes, they were. While A1 is in the air to attempt a try, B1 bats the ball from the hands of A1. The official rules a held ball. Is this correct? Yes or no? Right? A1 is in the air, right? They're going up, let's say for a layup. B1 bats the ball out of their hands. The official rules a held ball, right? When an airborne player is attempting to release the ball on a try or release the ball on a pass, and a defender places a hand on that ball and prevents the release, that is a held ball situation. But simply batting the ball from the hands, causing the loss of control by deflecting it or batting it, does not rise to the level of a held ball. So in this instance where the officials ruled a held ball, were they correct, yes or no? Pretty common scenario. We see held balls ruled in situations where the ball has become dislodged from an airborne player, right? The defense reaches, deflects the ball slightly. The player who'd gone up with the ball loses control of the ball, maybe recatches the ball, comes back down. Sometimes we will see officials rule a held ball. That would be an erroneous ruling. And of course, a player who is not airborne and the defense puts a hand on the ball, preventing the release maybe of a pass, does not rise to the level of a held ball either, right? Unique situation. So in this instance where the officials ruled a held ball, were they correct, yes or no? No, they were not. With 0.3 of a second on the game clock, A1's throw-in is tapped towards Team A's goal by A2. While the ball is in flight, time expires, the ball passes through the basket, the official counts the goal. Is this correct? Yes or no? Well, obviously this is a critical point of the game. We want to get this right. The throw-in is released with 0.3 of a second or less in the game. A player on the court is allowed to tap the ball legally without time expiring. If this player had caught the ball and then released a try, that would not be allowed, but the tap is allowed. The ball passes through the goal after the horn has sound. The official counts the goal. Is this correct? Yes or no? Yes. Yes, it is. Penultimate question, 49. A2 commits a foul prior to A1 releasing the ball on a try for goal. The ball enters the basket. the official counts the goal. Is this correct? Yes or no? Did I just read that question without understanding at all what I just read? Yes. A2 commits a foul prior to A1 releasing the ball on a try for goal. The ball enters the basket. The official counts the goal. Well, we know that continuous motion says that when a foul occurs and a player's in the act of shooting, they are allowed to... No. When a foul by any defensive player in that situation, then we would have continuous motion. Again, understanding what causes the ball to become dead, right? A foul in this instance causes the ball to become dead immediately. Therefore, the subsequent release of the goal is after the ball has become dead. When the ball is dead, no goal can be scored. So in this situation, where the officials ruled that we're scoring the goal, basically applying continuous motion where it should not be applied. Is this correct? Yes or no? No. No, it is not. All right, we're down to our final question. On a free throw by A1, B1 and B2 occupy the first marked lane spaces. Team A chooses not to occupy the second marked lane spaces. Team B requests permission to occupy these spaces. The official denies the request. Is this correct? Yes or no? Okay. Free throw by A1, so opponents of the thrower, B1 and B2, occupy the first two marked lane spaces. That's required by rule. But Team A chooses, we don't want any player, right? It's coach says, everybody back, right? And the other two players in the lane for Team B say, hey, can we move down? And the officials say no. Unique scenario that's only really going to apply in a rules question, right? It doesn't really happen. There's no motivation for the team to move down. But with National Federation of High School Basketball rules, need to understand that a maximum of 4 opponents of the thrower, a maximum of 2 teammates of the thrower may occupy marked lane spaces. The bottom 2 marked lane spaces must be occupied by opponents of the thrower. The second marked lane spaces are reserved for teammates of the thrower. And the final 2 are reserved for opponents of the thrower. But in the absence of players, teammates of the thrower filling those spaces, there is no restriction against an opponent taking one of those spots. Again, it's unlikely to occur. There's really no motivation to do so, but doing so is not illegal. So in this situation, our official denies the request for the opponents of the thrower to fill those spaces. Is that denial correct? Yes or no? No, it is not correct. Those players should be allowed, if they so desired, to fill those spaces. All right, 50 questions, right? I think I got them right. But we've had a discussion about the underlying rules and concepts that apply to the questions. Love the simplicity of these questions, etc., from the IAABO. Tell me how I did. If you have any differences of opinions on any of the questions, put them in the comments below. If this is the video content you find valuable as a basketball official, be a great time to do all of the things. Hit the like, subscribe, and notify bell so you don't miss out on any of our new content. We live stream every Wednesday and Friday. Join us for the live stream. Put your voice in the game, and let's all get better as basketball officials. Before we go, allow me to thank our tremendous show supporters, Gene Boglin, Michael Baker, Willie Godfrey, Lauren Messerly, and Jim Best. Much appreciated and much love. You want to support the show? I'm going to do it. I'm going to put a link down in the show notes below. And I'll tell you what else I'm going to do? I'll put one right here. Awesome. We have additional video content available for you here. This video is the NFHS Test 1. You can join us to view that, and we can all get better as basketball officials. Until next time, take care, everybody.